All right, folks, you are watching Downshift Pass. My name is Chad, and I thank you for checking out another one of my reviews. Now, if you are new here, welcome. If you are not new here, welcome back to the channel. And let's go ahead and hop into today's review. Today, we're taking a look at the 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe Z71. Alright folks, so let's get started with a little bit of history about the Chevrolet Tahoe. Now, they introduced this truck for the 1995 model year. It was based on the GMC Yukon that had already been out for a couple of years, just Chevy's version. So of course it's a three-row SUV, body on frame, so you're going to have a little bit rougher ride than your crossover vehicles. And this one is a Z71 package, so you get a lot of off-road goodies that also make it a little bit of a rougher ride, but still relatively comfortable. Now, Chevrolet says this is the most technologically advanced Tahoe ever, so I want to find out how true that is. Let's go ahead and get started with the styling. All right, folks, so let's go ahead and start in the front here. Of course, this is where you're going to notice the biggest change in the styling from your typical Tahoe. Now, with this being the Z71 package, you have all the off-road goodies you can need. And the one that you'll notice the most is the bumper here down at the bottom. You see, it doesn't hang down as low as your standard Tahoe, so that gives you a better approach and departure angle. So if you are off-road, you're able to cross over those bumps or rocks or whatever you're doing a lot easier without damaging anything. You have a nice skid plate down below, as well as those red tow hooks, just kind of gives you a little bit better accent. And then your grille, of course, is not going to be your standard chrome grille. It's a black grille with gray, or I'm sorry, satin accents as well. Now, you do have Z71 badging up here as well, which I love. I love badging. I love all that branding that you can see on vehicles, so looks pretty sharp. Of course, your headlights are high beam and low beam LED headlights, automatic LED headlights, and your turn signals are LED as well. And this car has a lot of controversial styling elements. A lot of people don't really love the way it looks, especially considering what the previous Tahoes looked like. I'm not 100% a fan, but if you get the Z71 package, I'm okay with it. Now, coming along the side here is where the car just gets a little nondescript. It's your typical three-row SUV. Now, on this front fender here, you do have your Z71 badging. And of course, your Tahoe badging is blacked out as well. You have your body colored mirrors, which come with the Z71 package. And then taking a look at these huge, meaty tires, these are Goodyear's 275, 60, 20-inch rims. And then you have a much higher ground clearance. With the Z71 package, it goes anywhere from 8 to 10 inches, depending on if you have the adjustable suspension. Now, this particular model does not have the adjustable suspension, but it does sit up higher, a lot higher than your standard Tahoe. And then you have running boards on the sides as well. The running boards aren't deployable. They actually sit affixed to the vehicle, which I thought was very odd for something that's supposed to be meant for off-roading, because that would just get in the way when they could have had the power deployable side steps. But coming along to the rear here, it's also another nondescript place for the Tahoe. You have your incandescent turn signals, brake lights as well. Now, the running lights that are back here are LED, so that's pretty neat. And then I love that they actually hide the windshield wiper up here so you don't see it on the window. And then down below, you have a cover for your towing package that this vehicle also has. Now, Chevy says this vehicle, the particular Z71, is rated to tow 7,700 pounds. All Z71s are also four-wheel drive, so that comes standard on the vehicle, which is also going to add to the price and lower your gas mileage, so keep that in mind as well. But tell me down below in the comments, what do you think of the styling of the new Tahoe? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Go ahead and let me know. All right, now coming along under the hood here is Chevy's 5.3 liter V8 engine. I want to start by saying I'm so happy that they have a V8 engine under the hood of this vehicle. With a lot of the competition going toward turbocharged 6-cylinder engines and everything, it's nice to get that nice growl from a V8. Now, again, this is a 5.3 liter V8 engine, and it's actually the only engine option that you can get with the Z71 package. It produces 355 horsepower, 383 pound-feet of torque at 4,100 RPM. And to be totally honest with you guys, it's a little sluggish. But again, this is an off-road package. It's not made for speed. And I mean, with a truck this size, are you really purchasing it for speed? Probably not. But I would definitely test drive it to make sure the power is adequate for you, because sometimes times climbing up hills and everything. Just kind of takes the fun away from the vehicle with how antiquated that this engine actually feels. Now with this engine, it is paired to a 10-speed automatic. You get 16 miles per gallon in the city, 20 miles per gallon on the highway. If you're buying this vehicle and thinking about gas mileage, might not be the vehicle for you. But let's go ahead and take a listen to what this 5.3 liter V8 sounds like. All right, folks, so let me know what you thought about the sound of that 5.3 liter V8. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you loved it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. It definitely helps the algorithm of the channel. But guys, let's go ahead and hop to the interior of the Z71 Tahoe. All right, folks, so taking a look at the key here of the Chevrolet Tahoe, it is your pretty standard key that you see on all Chevrolets. Of course, you have your lock and unlock button. You have remote start, which is simple to use. You just press the lock button and press this twice, and the car starts right up. Now, if you want to turn it off from the key, you just press and hold that button again, and it shuts right off. Now you can control the tailgate as well as the window from the remote as well. Chevrolet has been doing this for years where you can control them separately, which I love. But let's go ahead and take a look at the hatch here. All right, folks, and this is exactly why you will be getting a full-size SUV such as this Chevrolet Tahoe. It has a massive amount of cargo space. Even behind the third row, Chevy says you get 25.5 cubic feet of space. And under the load floor as well, you have small additional storage space as well. Now, this one also does have an optional net back here. So if you need to put groceries in here, your things won't slide around. And this right here is actually Velcro to the seat. So if you need to put wet items back here, you do have that option for easy cleanup. Now, of course, the third and second row folds flat. With this Z71 package, they both come, or both rows are actually power operated by these two buttons over here. So let's go ahead and let that third row seat down. You just press the down arrow and those seats fold completely flat. Now with those seats folded flat, you have 76 cubic feet of space, and the second row actually folds flat as well. And with that folded flat, you just push those buttons, they fall right into the ground, and that's going to give you 122 cubic feet of space. So again, a massive amount of room for this vehicle. Now the second row is not power operated coming back up, but the third row is. To let it up, you just press and hold those two buttons and it comes right up. All right, folks, so coming along to the second row of the Chevrolet Tahoe here, as you can see, the seat is still folded flat. To let it up, it is a very simple mechanism. You just grab the seat, lift it, and the seat goes into place. The only thing you would have to adjust is the headrests and your armrest, and you are in business. Now the seat is a little closer than you would have it once you fold it flat and let it back up, but to slide it back, it's as simple as this lever here, and it goes forward and back. Now if you need access to the third row, this lever here, you just pull on it twice, it'll fold flat. If you pull it again, it'll fold right up, and you have access to the third row. Now the third row does have 29 inches of leg room back here. So I'll go ahead and hop back here for you so we can take a look at the amount of leg room that it has. Simple as that, and this is a great amount of space back here. The Chevrolet Tahoes definitely did not used to have a lot of space or even be a comfortable place to sit, but Chevy says it has 40% more space back here, and the seat is lower and a lot more comfortable, and that's because of that new independent rear suspension that they've added. Now if you are in a third row and you want to get to the second row, get out the car, this one does have the optional captain's chair, so you could just walk through, or you could just push this button here and it'll fold the seat flat, and then there's a lever that you can pull up and it'll fold the seat up to get you out of the vehicle. Now a couple of features back here in the third row is not many. Of course, you have your air vent, and you do have a USB-C port here on either side. But other than that, that's it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the second row of the Tahoe. All right, guys, so taking a look at the second row of seats, you will see that Chevrolet offers plenty of space for your second row passengers as well. Up to 38 inches of leg room back here. If you need more room for the third row, this seat does slide forward and back. I'm 5'8", and I do have the driver's seat in a position that I would be driving in, and even with the seat all the way forward, my knees are just touching, so you can tell it has a ton of space back here. Now, a couple of other different features back here are these two screens on the driver and passenger seat. They are the rear entertainment system that Chevrolet offers as an option. Now, these can be controlled separately, or you can control them together so your kiddos can watch the same thing at the same time. It does offer apps such as Chrome, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu. All you do is sign into your accounts and you are able to watch whatever you want to watch as you're driving down the street. Now, it does have a DVD player as well. DVD slots on the sides of these, so if you still have DVDs, you can have them watch that as well. Of course, you have your two cup holders back here. Have your rear AC control. Now, this is a 3-zone climate control, so driver, passenger, and then the rear can control theirs. This one does have the luxury package, which includes heated rear seats. And then you have your USB-C plugs down here, as well as your 12-volt as well if you need to plug in anything. A couple of other features back here I love are the armrests on the captain's chairs, as well as your rear seat mat pockets, which is on the driver and the passenger side. So I definitely appreciate that. The screens also do come with wireless headphones, so you can either play it through the car stereo or you can have them put on their headphones so you don't have to be disturbed as well. Now, it only does come with two, which I think is really weird that this is a 3-row SUV with two headphones to choose from, but at least you have that option for them. The best part back here, I think, is that you get this view from the huge panoramic sunroof, which leads us to the front of the vehicle. So let's go ahead and hop up there. All right, guys, so hopping into the Chevrolet Tahoe, of course, you can use your key to unlock and lock it, but it's 2021. Why would you do that? You would just put your hand on the handle, and actually in this car, you don't just put your hand on the handle, which is one really major issue I have with this car, especially at its price point. You still have to push a button to lock and unlock, but with the key in your pocket, you just push the chrome button here and it unlocks and you're able to hop right on in. And to be honest, this is where all the fun happens in the Chevrolet Tahoe. So let's go ahead and take a look at this front seat. So of course, this is again a 2021, so it does have push button start. To start the vehicle, you just put your foot on the brake. There's a start button here, you just push that and the car starts right up. Have a nice sweeping action of the gauges, but no major dramatics for this vehicle. Again, this vehicle is made for off-roading, not all that, extra stuff. But coming along the side here, your window controls, of course, are automatic up and down in the front. Now for the back, they are just auto down. To let them up, you do have to hold. I know it's a first world problem, but when you're paying $70,000 for a car, these small features, kind of make a difference. Of course, you have your 2-person memory seat where some of the competition has 4, and then right along here is where all of your safety features and everything is. So you have your automatic parking brake here. This is your lane keep assist. No level 2 autonomous driving in this vehicle at all, but it does have a lane keep assist that kind of pings you in the lane. You have your parking assist, traction control, hill descent control, which I was able to use, and I think it's a really neat feature, especially if you're off-roading. Automatic start stop. And then down here is where your controls for your 4-wheel drive system is. You can put it in auto, which is where most people will leave it, or you have your 4 high, 4 low, or 2-wheel drive option. This does have a towing package as well, so you can control all your towing controls here. Automatic LED headlights. Pretty much everything you need to control is going to be over here. Now, moving along to the gauge cluster, it's pretty much what you come to expect from any vehicle. It shows your gas mileage, speedometer, Bluetooth settings, radio settings, navigation settings, and of course the mileage of the vehicle, as well as the position that you have the transmission in. And speaking of transmission, here are your transmission controls, which a lot of people have an issue with. I think it's pretty neat. It's something you get used to. To put it in reverse with your foot on the brake, you just pull this here. Neutral is a button. Drive, you pull, and then you have a low range here that you push if you want to control the transmission yourself. So of course, more than likely you're just going to keep it in drive, and that is it. But let's go ahead and put it into reverse and move right along to this screen here. Now, this is the optional 10.2-inch screen that Chevrolet offers. With this optional screen, it has 9 different camera modes to choose from, guys. 9. And I think it is so amazing. For this car to be this size, it is absolutely nothing to park it. And you have different settings within each setting. So you have a front and rear camera, This one here shows the front coming down as well, or the rear coming down as well as the front coming down right here. Here you can see your steering angle. This is going to be the back of the vehicle, and this is going to be the front of the vehicle. So if I turn the wheel, as you can see, it is showing exactly where the wheel is. Now, if you are towing, because this does have the towing package, it does have a tow hitch camera, so you can get as close as you need to. This one here will show you the lines once you're trying to line up with something if you are towing. And then if you are in your standard mode here, this last button is your 360 camera. So you can just actually have the full screen or cut this on and off. And I love that it is the full screen. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to get into a spot. So let's say we want to get into this spot right here. I'm going to put the car in drive, and as you can see, the lines show up to show where you are, and you can just easily climb into a space. I'm not sure how it sees down. This is something that BMWs and Mercedes have been offering for a few years, so it's nice to see that it's making it down to Chevys. All right, now speaking of infotainment system, your controls to control this infotainment system is all down here, or of course it's all touchscreen. This car does have Bluetooth, obviously, but it also has one really neat feature, and that's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but they are wireless. So all you have to do is just connect your phone. I have an Android, I'm going to click Android Auto, and boom, it pops right up. Phone is right here. Has no cords attached to it. It just knows your phone is in the vehicle, and it works seamlessly. It's probably the best working Android Auto system that I have used thus far. Now with this screen is how you control your audio, phone, Wi-Fi settings, pretty much everything. And look at how smooth this is. There is no lag whatsoever. It is literally amazing. You can put it to this screen and kind of see, this will be like your home screen. It shows everything: radio controls, phone controls. You just have different options to choose from, different tiles to choose from, or you can leave it here and you're able to choose whatever you would like to choose. But I love the resolution of it. Has a great brightness, and it's just so smooth and so satisfying to use. Now coming along down here, again, these are your controls to control everything on that screen. So your home button will always take you back to the home screen, which is here. Then you have a back button, of course, and if you need to turn the radio station or your track on your Bluetooth, you just press this button here. Volume controls, and then down below is where your climate controls are. Now again, driver and passenger climate control is separate. You do have heated seats in this vehicle as well, and you can control the rear climate control from here. You can cut it on and off, and if you click rear climate, it just pops up on the screen here, so you can control the rear climate yourself. Now moving further down below is a very, very huge wireless charging system, and I have a very large bulky phone, so this is perfect for someone like me. Just drop it in there, it starts charging. Of course, you have your cup holders, and then just like everything in this Tahoe, a massive amount of storage space in the central console. And then coming along over here to your glove compartment, it is damp, not lined with felt, and it's actually probably the smallest storage space that you have in this vehicle, but you have so much additional storage space that you won't need it. Now, of course, in your door, you have map pockets or door pockets as well, 2 of them. And as you can see, this vehicle does have the Bose audio system. Make sure you stick around for the audio test so we can get into that. And then, of course, with this button here, you just press slide, and it'll let this magnificent, huge panoramic sunroof all the way back. I'm a sunroof lover, so I definitely appreciate the sunroof on this vehicle. Of course, if you want to close it, you just press slide again. You also have a tilt function as well as a function for the sunshade. I think it is odd that you have 3 different buttons for one, system, the sunroof, but you get used to it like anything else. And then here, if you need to open the rear hatch, you just press that here. And as you can hear, it's opening. And I love that it is adjustable. You can have it at max height, 3/4 height, or just turn it off completely. Now, one really neat thing up here as well is going to be the buttons here to fold your third row. So you just press these buttons here and the seats fold down, and you can also fold them back up at the touch of a button. So if you have someone coming from the airport, you don't even have to get out. Just press the button, let it down, press it back up, or press the other button to let it back up, and that's it. But I suggest you get out and at least, you know, give them a hug. But let's go ahead, guys, and go into the drive of the Tahoe Z71. All right, setting out here in the 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe Z71 package. Pretty excited to drive this one here because, one, they are very hard to find on the lots, especially right now at time of recording. They go for a premium right now over sticker price. A lot of people are just willing to pay extra for it and get those extra little goodies. Mostly, I think people are getting it for the looks. That's exactly why I would be getting it. But let's go ahead and hit the street here. Now, of course, I'm going to do surface streets, highway, and then we're going to do the audio system test. And again, this has the upgraded Bose audio system, which you're going to get in all the Z71s. So definitely make sure you stick around for that. But first, driving impressions. I have had the privilege of having this car for about a day, so it's going to be a quick little review and my thoughts of what this Z71 feels like and what it does. But my initial impression is probably going to be what everyone else's is, especially if you're coming from a crossover SUV. This is a full-size body-on-frame SUV. If you don't know what that means, essentially it's a truck. It kind of drives like a truck. It definitely has a lot of car-like characteristics. The turning radius is pretty amazing for a vehicle of this size. But again, with this being the Z71 package, it does have those Meteor off-road style tires, and that's definitely communicated very well through the steering wheel. Now, very well is relative. If you enjoy that off-road feel or that rougher feel, you're definitely going to get it from this vehicle. But if you want something a little bit softer, more luxurious, you would have to go for another trim level like the High Country or even like a base model LT. Now, this is the first year that Chevy has put an independent rear suspension on the Tahoe. It usually comes with a live axle design, and that independent rear suspension basically is just giving you, sorry about that, it's basically just giving you a little bit more of a smoother ride because the suspension is able to modulate separately instead of together. So that's going to give you a little bit more of that car-like feel, even though it rides on a truck chassis. And you especially notice it on surface levels like now, but you'll really notice it when I get on the highway. And once we get on that highway, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little gas so we can see what that acceleration is like and the road noise. All right, now this is Chevy's 5.3 liter V8. It's the only engine option that you have on the Z71 package. Again, 355 horsepower. Sounds a lot better than that, I'll tell you. Well, let's go ahead and punch it and see here. And this is my foot to the ground, guys. And again, for a truck this size, I mean, it moves out okay. Chevy says 0 to 60 in 7.5 seconds for this truck, which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, for a full-size SUV, it's actually quite impressive. It is quite impressive. But in everyday driving, if you're not pushing it, if you're not trying to hammer it all day, you'll realize that the power is relatively adequate. All right, so coming along up to this corner here, I think people will be very impressed with how well this truck actually handles. This is when you really realize it is a full-size truck, but it doesn't handle as terribly as you might think, especially for something this size. That's that independent rear suspension at work here. Tire noise coming into the cabin is relatively loud, I think. I had the privilege of driving a Ford Expedition. It was a Platinum model, and they are so quiet, especially at full throttle. Now, they're not a V8 engine, so it's not going to be as raspy and loud, but it's a much quieter, more supple ride, especially on the highway. And I'm just really going to attribute that to the tires that this vehicle has. Now, once you get it up to speed, the truck feels really good. This car does have the lane keep assist, so essentially it's going to ping itself when it notices lane on the road. So if I take my hands off the wheel here, you'll notice it'll start to drift and kind of just center itself, but I would not trust it to hit this corner or any corner for that matter. And again, at $70,000, kind of expecting that from a vehicle of this price range. Even on the high country, it's pretty much that lane keep assist. Now, as I said before, this does have the Bose audio system, which is an upgraded system that you get on a Z71 packet. So I'm going to go ahead and cue up some music and we're going to take a listen. Here we go. Hit this corner here to some surface streets. I just want to roll right into my final thoughts on this 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe Z71. And the biggest question that I had going into this review was really just if this car is worth this money. I mean, you're talking $70,000. You're in a lot of great company at $70,000. The company that you're not in is a lot of full-size SUVs that offer a very comfortable third row, as well as great storage space and some off-road ability if that is what's important to you, with a bit hunkering V8. I am a car guy. V8s mean something to me. But I'll tell you something. The 5.3 liter in this car definitely feels antiquated. This car feels very lethargic when you get on the throttle very hard. And once you're already moving, if you need to punch it, it's not going to take you too much of anywhere. So that's one thing to consider. Seat comfort is there. You do have your 8-way power adjustable seats. It does have some pretty decent technology, but it's lacking a lot of major features such as any type of self-driving assist. The parking cameras are awesome. I want to say it's 9 cameras on this car, so you should have no reason that you hit anything, including a tire, because you know you have cameras down there. So you kind of just realize that you're taking the good with the bad. One thing I appreciate about this Z71 is that it's built for a specific buyer, and those buyers are going to love this car. I like to review cars and really try to not be so biased and really look at the car for what type of purpose is it serving, and is it serving that purpose well. And I'm going to tell you something, the Z71 serves its purpose very well. If you're looking for something a little bit more luxurious, I would highly recommend taking a look at the High Country, the Tahoe High Country, or the Expedition Platinum. Those are going to get you a lot more. It's going to be a lot more opulent, especially on the inside of that Ford. Man, that one is beautiful. But if this is what you're looking for, that off-road thing is in right now, then this Tahoe will definitely serve you very, very well. So make sure you run to your dealership and run quickly, because they are selling out every chance they get them in and get you on. All right, folks, well, it's been my pleasure being able to show you this 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe Z71. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well. Helps me get more dope vehicles like this, and it just helps the algorithm of the channel. And I really appreciate all the support that you guys have provided me and given me by hitting that subscribe button. So to see more of my content, make sure you are subscribed. I definitely have more content coming up soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye-bye.